YouTube, how you doing? Murph here, bringing you another product review. Today's review is going to be on the Razer Viper 8K gaming mouse. This is the newest mouse released by Razer. It's a very lightweight mouse coming in right around 71 grams, and the focus of this mouse, as is implied by the name 8K, is on that 8,000 hertz polling rate, which we'll talk more about in a few minutes. But first, we're going to talk about the design and the build quality. And as far as the build quality goes, I have no real complaints here. There's no bending, flexing, or creaking in any of these side panels or top or bottom plates. The build quality overall feels very solid. It comes with a very high quality cable that they refer to as their SpeedFlex cable, which is essentially a paracord style cable. You can see on the bottom here, there's a good amount of coverage with these PTFE mouse feet, which is going to provide a nice even glide. And the buttons on this mouse are fantastic. They are probably some of the best feeling buttons I have felt on a mouse in a long time. They are very clicky and tactile, but it is not overly loud. The button for the scroll wheel is also nice and tactile. And unlike a lot of other gaming mice that I've reviewed lately, the side buttons are very, very good. They are not mushy at all. Again, very tactile, and they've got a nice crisp feel to them. Now, as far as the design for this mouse is concerned, they did a very good job. It looks like what you can expect from other Razer gaming mice. You see here on top, it's got that little cutout with a divot that goes under the front two mouse buttons. That gives it a very clean yet aggressive look to it. It's got one single LED zone, which is the Razer symbol here on the back, which is very customizable in the software that we'll get into in a few minutes. This is a true ambidextrous mouse, so it does have side buttons on both the left and the right. As far as the size goes for this mouse, it is 126 millimeters long, or about 5 inches. It's 57.6 millimeters wide, or about 2.27 inches. And it's about 37.8 millimeters high, or right at about 1.5 inches. This mouse should come in weighing right around 71 grams. And it's spot on, 71 grams on my scale as well. Now, this mouse does use Razer's 2nd gen optical mouse switch, which is rated for 70 million clicks. So very durable, and this mouse should last you for quite a long time. Now, the optical sensor for this mouse has been upgraded, and it now has a max sensitivity of 20,000 dpi. And the biggest upgrade on this mouse is, of course, that 8,000 hertz polling rate. The majority of gaming peripherals still operate at around 1,000 hertz. We've seen some other gaming peripherals, I believe, like the Corsair K100 is a 2,000 hertz polling rate keyboard, if I'm not mistaken. So we are starting to see gaming peripherals roll out with higher than 1,000 hertz polling rates, but 8,000 really crushes that. Frankly, it's probably overkill for 99% of the gamers out there. It's a great stat to have on paper, but in a real world gaming scenario, you're really not going to be able to tell that much of a difference between 1,000 hertz polling rate mouse and 8,000 hertz. There may be a very minor subset of people out there, like pro gamers, who play a lot of fast twitch shooters, things like CSGO, Valorant, of course Fortnite, who may be a little more sensitive to things like polling rate, but realistically, for the vast majority of people out there, that is quite a bit of overkill. Where it does tend to help a little bit is with very high refresh rate monitors. And I'm not even really talking about 240 hertz. We're talking about some of the 360 hertz monitors that you're starting to see come out right now. When you have a lower polling rate mouse on a higher refresh rate screen, it can start to introduce what's known as micro stutters. And Razer put out a graphic that really demonstrates this issue very well. On the 1,000 hertz side, you can see there's a little bit more of a gap in that cursor, and that's what's known as a micro stutter. Whereas on the 8,000 hertz side, you can see it's much more smooth and even, and is going to provide a little bit of a better experience. And again, we're talking very high refresh rate monitors here. So do keep in mind that while having that 8,000 hertz polling rate is a great statistic, and I am glad to see that we're moving towards higher and higher polling rates, it's not going to make that much of a dramatic difference unless you're playing in an extremely high level and you're sensitive to those kinds of things, and or you are using a very high refresh rate monitor. And even then, the benefit will probably not be as noticeable as you might think. So overall, the design, the build quality, the sensors that they're using in this thing, the switches along with the mouse buttons themselves, everything feels really good and looks really good with this mouse. Now this mouse does use the Razer Synapse software, and once you open that up, this is what you're going to be presented with. You can see here on the top left, this is going to have your devices, your Razer devices that are currently connected. We're going to click on the Razer Viper 8K, and then over here you can see all of your buttons. At the top here is the name of your current profile, and you can store up to 5 different profiles on this mouse. And this mouse does feature onboard memory, which means these settings are going to be saved directly to the mouse. If you have any stored macros, they'll be stored down here on the bottom right. And on the bottom here, mouse use, you can see if you want to use left-handed mode, you can switch that around. Again, this is a really nice ambidextrous mouse, so that's an option for you as well. Up here on the top, you can see your main tabs. We're under Customize right now. You also have Performance. This is where you are going to change your sensitivity and your polling rate. You can have up to 5 different sensitivities here, but you can also limit that number to like 2 or 3, because on the bottom of this mouse here, there is a button that can cycle through the different polling rates. And if you're somebody who cycles through those in different stages for different games or something like that, and you don't want to have to hit the button 5 times to get back to like the second stage 2 800 DPI, you can just limit this to like 2 or 3, so you have less steps in between. And you can change each of these DPI levels if you want to. Over here, the polling rate, the default should be 8,000, but if not, make sure you're set on 8,000. You could also lower this if you would like to those steps in between, but I'm just gonna leave that on 8,000 at the moment. As far as lighting goes, I'm gonna use a different mouse so that you can see the effects of this. You can see here, you can turn the LED off if you prefer, and you can also adjust the brightness. It's on 70% by default, but you can throw that up to 100, and this mouse does get quite bright. You also have options here to switch off the lighting when the display is turned off or when it's been sitting idle for a certain amount of minutes. That's a good feature to have as well. And then on the right hand side are the effects. You do have options for advanced effects. When you plug in the mouse and it prompts you to download the software, it should give you an option to download Chroma Studio and a few other programs. So if advanced effects is something you would like to do, make sure you download that. But as far as quick effects, you've got a few different presets here. You've got static, and you can choose whatever color you would like to choose here, and it will keep it that color. You've got spectrum cycling, which is just going to cycle through the different colors. You've got reactive mode, which is going to react when you press a mouse button. You've got breathing. You can either pick your colors or we can throw in random color, and it'll have a breathing pattern like that. And then we've got audio meter, which reacts to music or any kind of audio coming through your computer. You're not going to be able to hear this song because I don't want to get a copyright strike or anything like that, but I'm going to play some music in the background here, and you can see how that reacts. That's all for the lighting effects. And then this is kind of a cool feature as well. If you come to calibration, this will actually calibrate your mouse for your specific mouse surface, whether you're using a desktop or a specific mouse pad, a plastic versus cloth mouse pad, anything like that. So you can use smart tracking here to change the tracking distance, and then manual calibration. This is where you're going to come in and you can add a surface, and they already have preloaded all of their types of mouse pads on here. So if you have a specific Razer mouse pad, you can just choose that and it will give you a little bit of a better experience. Or you can hit custom and it'll show you what to do here. You hit start, it says click the left mouse button and move the mouse. We're going to click. Calibration completed. And you can see here up top, it says your Razer gaming mouse delivers immensely accurate tracking straight out of the box, which is good, but it does offer this experience if you would like to kind of fine tune your surface, and you can preload multiple surfaces in here if you need to. So that's kind of a cool feature as well. So overall, this is a really good gaming mouse. The design is good, the build quality is solid, And it's also got a lot of advanced tech in here, like that 20,000 DPI sensor and the 8,000 hertz polling rate. The buttons feel really, really good on this mouse, and it's overall just got a really good, clean design and aesthetic to it. It's also really lightweight, so if that's what you're looking for and you're in the market for a lightweight gaming mouse, this is definitely one to check out, and it's priced pretty well. You could get something like the Glorious Model O for about $50. You also have the new Ducky Feather, which I've also done a review on this channel. This is a pretty solid lightweight gaming mouse as well. That's going to be in a very similar price range. So overall, as far as my recommendation for this mouse, I think if you're in the market for a lightweight gaming mouse, you should definitely put this on your short list to look at. It's in a competitive market. Lightweight gaming mice are very popular right now, and you can find good ones at all different kinds of price points. I do think they price this pretty competitively though, and overall it's just a really great feeling and looking mouse, and it seems to be a good performer as well. And that pretty much wraps up this review, guys. If you enjoyed the video, if you found it useful, make sure to hit that like button. Also, if you'd like to see other content like this, such as product reviews, stream tutorials, things of that nature, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, I'll put all of my socials in the description, but if you join anything, make sure you join that Discord server. It's kind of a one-stop shop for this channel. You'll be notified when I post new videos on YouTube, when I go live on Twitch. You'll be first to be notified of any giveaways that I'm doing. So make sure you join that Discord server. And if you guys have any questions or comments about this product or the video in general, make sure you drop them in the comment section and I'll be sure to get to as many of those as I can. YouTube, we'll catch you later.